Hey, it's Jen here at the Sheepwalk Ranch, and I wanted to let you know that I'm also the director for Texas Make It With Wool, and I have some really cool announcements. I cannot give you the particulars about the prizes, so I'm giving you my squinty eye, no prize announcements, but I am going to tell you that we have 3 new brilliant competitions coming up. They're going to be national, but on a state level, we're going to do the same thing. But we're going to do it on smaller scale. And the reason is they call it practice. So by the time that you've knit your sweater, by the time that you've created your fiber arts, phenomenon, and by the time you've upcycled, recycled, you will have that product ready to then turn around and send off the documents and the artwork and everything to nationals, which is going to be a couple weeks after our event. So you are already in a great position to then be noticed for that national contest. Now the national contests are being sponsored by our eSynergy. What's the word I'm looking for? Our connection, our conduits, our Backyard Green Films, Alara and Rick Bowman. They have done an amazing job, and a huge shout out to Backyard Green Films because they're trying to help not just one festival, one state. They're trying to get the national attention from farmers, producers, artists, the whole wide community within our wool production. And I include alpaca, I include mohair, anything that's of a protein fiber that comes off an animal. So the thing about nationals and the thing about the state of Texas is we stick to a strict thing, 60%. You must be 60% wool, okay? That's not a hard thing to do. If you know how to do wool testing on your fabric, then it's not a big issue. There's a whole thing out there that tells you how to do it at home. If you are a knitter, it's really not that complex. You're going to look at the labels. However, I still advise that you do wool testing. But here's the 3 competitions, and here's why I'm excited. Okay, so you know me, I'm the Sheepwalk Ranch. You know that I also have the Texas Fiber Gathering. This is my answer to a cooperative. It allows me to put my money back into the community. So let's say last year I invested over $5,000-$6,000 just back into our farmers. And I have my own wool, but I don't have that wool. I don't have Icelandic. I don't have Valet, for instance, until now. Over here, my badly chopped up, because I did the shearing, Swiss filet. I don't have everything. I have what serves a purpose here on the farm that can survive and sustain in the hill country, and those have become passion projects. The 3 competitions are now a reflection of community. So I know there's a contingency out there. They're like, oh, Jennifer, she is in charge, whatever. No, listen, here's the deal. I've never not been for the community, and I would step down from all my positions if I was really that person that wasn't for the community, and I'm 100% for it. Okay, so festivals have been fading, not because of their fault. It's just the economy, and they'll go up and they'll go down and they'll go up and down. We know how this works because I'm a retailer as well. I do festivals. Yarn shops, your economy is up and down. So what Texas Make It With Wool, what the National Make It With Wool, and all the statewide Make It With Wool programs are saying is, all right, let's create a new connection. And I can't take credit for this. This has to be the brilliance of Backyard Green Films. And of course, New York, huge shout out to them because not only do they have contestants that won in the 2024 contest, congratulations, by the way, but they also have, a bigger scene, it's there. Rhinebeck is massive. I mean, between Maryland and Rhinebeck, you can't compete. We could try, but unfortunately with Texas, what we have is 5-6 festivals. And so what we've done is we've taken one big festival and we've diversified. We've split it up to break up the state because it is a massive state. It takes forever to get from one end to the other. So 3 competitions. Now I'm gonna get to the point because I know how much people hate that. The first competition is the sweater contest. So this was a huge success. It was brought out at the Rhinebeck Festival, and basically these contestants, these people came in and showed their sweaters off, and a lot of them were color work, but you're not limited to color work. I highly advise that you talk to your indie dyers that are within your state. I highly advise that you talk to your producers that sell yarn, that do natural colors or dyed colors. But the sweater contest yields a really great prize, and there's a 1st through 5th is from what I understand. That's not confirmation. I'm just telling you 1st and 2nd take the chunk, and then you also still have a 3rd through 5th. This is a national thing, so you're getting national exposure. You do not have to come up with your own pattern. That's the cool news. So the same thing with our fiber arts competition at Texas Fleece and Fiber Festival, because it's not controlled, but managed by me. We had a good talk about it, and we're no longer going to require that it be your design, at least 30% your design. You find a pattern, you create it. We want to see what you've got. If you're in the fashion contest and one of your pieces is a knitwear or a crochet wear project, you can, in fact, probably enter that as well as a possible second chance win, besides being in the fashion circuit. So take that into consideration once that information comes out. If you are a knitter, it doesn't matter what age you are, what skill you are. If you are a knitter or crocheter, I do believe that you can qualify to enter, and just show us what you got, right? Show us what you got. So the second contest is upcycling, recycling. So we already knew we were going to add this to the state level, because one of the biggest issues we have is sourcing wool fabric, and wool fabric these days is getting pricier and pricier. And we found also that a lot of the wool isn't actually being sourced from the US. And the other thing that's happening is they'll say it's 70% or 100%, and it's testing out at like 40 to 50%. That's a no-no, and it's not your fault. This is definitely not your fault, but I highly recommend, if you are gonna go the I purchased all my fabric route, that you get swatches first, test those swatches. They have to send them to you. They cannot tell you, no, it's all or nothing. You need to test those swatches before you actually start sewing, because that was a huge Debbie Downer about 2 years ago, when we had contestants who were disqualified because after all the work that they did, their fabric did not test out. So the third contest is the one that has me all excited. Okay, so the third contest is producer to artist or producer to contestant. The verbiage will be out there. Again, I'm not going to say what the prizes are. I'm not going to say how that story is going to end, but what I can tell you is this, that each state has an immense amount of producers. Each state, well, not each state, many of our states have mills. So if your state has a mill, I highly, highly recommend that you contact that mill and ask them, hey, do you have somebody who's willing to sell some of their fiber to me? Is there someone there that's willing to sell some yarn to me? And if they say, no, but I think they sell their stuff at this yarn shop down the street, blah, 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 or in their zone, now we've connected you to the yarn shop. So it's beautiful, right? It's absolutely beautiful. State of Texas, we are blessed, very, very blessed. We are going to have 4 fiber mills. We already have 2. We have one that I know is coming in June, July, Sheer Joy, and she's super duper excited. And she has been doing a lot of work. Her and her crew have taken the time to train. I know that she's been training with Lindsay up in Kurth Valley. And then it was announced that Dawn Brown has taken back her fiber mill and is opening it up in Kerrville. So Kerrville is only like 20 minutes away from me. So we are in the Mecca for wool and mohair. And between the two of us, we have a huge community. You add in Sheer Joy, she has a massive community. And then you add in Marlin Farms, and then all of our private mills that are here, they have massive communities as well. So what makes this beautiful is this. The artist gets to tell their story, but the artist has to make a connection with that producer. So even if you go to that yarn shop, right, and you buy that yarn, we're asking the artist to actually talk with the farm, the ranch, wherever that wool came from, that fiber came from, and make that connection and maybe learn a little bit about them. Then through that storytelling, you bring it forward and you start to photo document, because that's the most important detail. I mean, why would you do this? And you don't have to be just a knitter. The beauty of this project is this: you buy the raw fleece, or you buy the clean fleece, or you buy the yarn. So you have so many directions, right? You can wash it, dye it, felt it. If you're gonna spin it, are you gonna dye it again, or are you gonna keep it in natural form? Are you gonna knit, crochet, or weave? Are you gonna weave and then create fabric that you can sew? Your end product is not in a box. We're not in a, sorry, that was a circle. It's not in a box. But if we're talking about full circle economy, right? The big round circle economy, this is a big deal. So once all that information is released, you're gonna start to see some changes on Texas Fiber Gathering. You're gonna see some changes on Make It With Wool. You're gonna see some changes even on the Sheepwalk Ranch, because there is no unity without community. Let's start there. So it's going to have to change. That has to change. Can I do it by myself? No. This is going to take a collective of people who are willing to set aside whatever it is they've got on their mind and pick up those pieces and then help us rebuild the community so that we've got producer, you have the middleman like the retailer, and then you have the artist. So unfortunately I don't have 3 arms, so you just know it's 3. Are we stronger as this or are we stronger as this? Well, according to Game of Thrones, which is one of my favorite shows, even though it's a little raunchy now and then, there is no solidarity unless if you have this. And this looks like I'm trying to punch you in the face, and I apologize. So if this, there's still some unity and community, but this is solidified. So now the only thing I will tell you is that Texas Make It With Wool is a part of Texas Fleece and Fiber Festival, but this does not mean that we don't love the other festivals. So you will see a list of festivals, you will see a list of yarn shops, you will see a list of producers as I can resource them. The ones that want to step forward and be listed, they will let me know and I'll add them. But the idea is that we bring it back together, because this is what we are right now, right? We're a little bit fractured, but if we can get this to come together and we're all on the same page, do you think that's going to be better? I think it's going to be fantastic.